Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with Real Deal Talk. I'm telling you right now, folks, just hang on to your seats, buckle up, because I've got in the studio today Carlos Kremer, a.k.a. the Roaring Lion, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you right now, this guy, I met him at a charity function.
All right.
And they had this Queen cover band, right? And this guy gets up and he's wearing this like full-length fur coat. And I'm like, who is this guy right here? And he starts, and I'm like, why is he up there? Is he the leader of the band? Is he? And all of a sudden he goes into this intro for Queen cover band, like you would have thought it was actually Queen, with the way that he hyped these guys up. I got so fired up because I love a great announcement, a great intro. Like I'm a sucker for a great intro.
Right.
And let me tell you something, my adrenaline was like coming through my skull just from you introing the Queen cover band. And I said, I got to get to know this cat right here. And I went right up to him afterwards, said, dude, we got to connect. Something's telling me we're meant to do something together. What was this? This was like almost a year ago. How long ago was this?
Almost a year ago for Angela Brannan's It's All About the Kids
That's
Foundation.
Right.
Yeah, just an incredible event. We were talking about Angela before.
Yep.
And that Queen tribute band, they rocked.
They did.
Yeah, they sounded exactly like Queen.
Identically. And so
Freddie Mercury,
yes,
stunt double, the whole bit.
He was doing the moves with the tight jeans, and he was unbelievable. And and I knew that we were meant to, and we literally, you and I have been going back and forth for an entire year, hooking up on social media first. Then we got the cell phones going, and we just kept in touch. And every single time I'd reach out to this guy, he'd be in like another country. Right? Oh, JD, this week I'm in Bahrain. Okay. This week I couldn't even track you.
Right.
And here's why. Because this guy right here is the Fight Book MMA 6-time #1 cage announcer in the world. In fact, speaking of world, your organization has been in what, 28 different countries? Give me that stat again.
Yeah, a Brave Combat Federation led by His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa, headquartered in the magnificent Kingdom of Bahrain. Our president, the Hawk Mohammed Shahid. In 6 years, this organization has gone to 28 different countries, having 70 different events, shattering the UFC record of 27 countries visited and hosted events in. It took them 30 years to do that. So these guys over here out of the Middle East are very, very special, and His Highness just wanted to change the landscape of mixed martial arts worldwide. And they said, what if you don't get the products? What if you don't get the ticket sales? What if you don't get the merchandise? And they're like, we don't care about that. We just want to make an imprint on the landscape of mixed martial arts for the world. And now the Kingdom of Bahrain, you've probably heard about it a lot more now, but in the last 6 years have really taken over and have the #1 team in the world with KHK Team Bahrain. I mean, really, really amazing, the athletes that they get over there, including guys like Habib Nurmagomedov, Cyril Gane, Francis Ngannou. I mean, they have a team of guys that come over there. A lot of guys from Dagestan. There's a lot of wrestlers just coming over there, and it's funneled it and made the Kingdom of Bahrain not only a spot on the map for people that didn't know about it, but now a tourist destination for them as well. It's absolutely beautiful over there.
So that's mind-boggling to me. Like, you're telling me that they've beat the UFC record to get into that many countries in what fraction of time? You said 30 years for the UFC.
6 years for Brave Combat Federation, yeah. Unbelievable. Incredible. If you think about the logistics alone that it takes to run an incredible event in another country, much less your own country, right? But to set that up, the stadium, the security, the lighting, production, you name it, right? It's just an impossible feat. So that's why so many people have gone down trying.
Yeah.
But Brave just keeps getting stronger and stronger. The athletes keep getting better and better. We were talking a little bit, Hamzat Chimaev, who's the UFC's #1 really prodigy right now.
Yeah.
As they say, the baddest man in the world. He's from Brave Combat Federation. We've got a ton of fighters coming from Brave. And these guys out there have a different mentality than they do out here. They really fight to the death, literally. So, and they're fighting for His Highness. You're fighting for the Hawk Mohammed Shaheed. These guys are laying it all on the table, and it makes for some of the greatest fights in the world. Wow. So I'm truly blessed with the greatest feat in all of sports, and just supporting these guys and giving them the exposure and the respect they deserve, because the life of a martial artist is such a brutal, JD, as you know. You're all in.
Yeah.
You have to sacrifice everything.
Everything.
From kind of almost like a bodybuilder in a way, too.
Yeah.
Your diet has to be perfect. Your workouts have to be perfect. You have to have a numerous amount of training partners in every different discipline, right? From stand-up to grappling to, karate, whatever. It all has to be mixed together. So,
and then the mindset.
And
I mean, you can't even fathom it.
And you have to have that support system back home, right? We talked
absolutely.
about that. I have an incredible, I wouldn't be able to do any of the things that I've done without my wife, Tekka, who has just been my inspiration, keeps me going, takes care of the kids while I'm on the road. It just Herculean. And she's been fighting death herself.
Wow.
Yeah. So she's been, for the last 2 years, really bedridden. So the night that you saw her, that was one of the very few nights that I could get her out for a couple hours. Yeah. So she'll spend 5 to 7 days throwing up. Can't even have an ice chip. It's really bad. So we're awaiting emergency surgery right now.
Yeah.
And knock on wood, everything will go great.
My Christian viewers and listeners, Carlos Kremer, say your wife's name again.
Tekka,
please pray. Say a prayer. This will be launching in a week or two, so you're going to have a lot of Christians praying for you and your wife. So
thank you.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Thank you so much.
Our wives don't get enough credit at all, because without them, you and I can't do what we do. We can't be out in the... we just can't function without when they're not, especially if they're not. So even just the moral support behind us, knowing they got our back and love us, that in itself is everything. They believe in us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you shouted that out.
Well, we talk about the fighters. They have to have that perfect storm of everything together to be a successful athlete. And even those who are top tier, it's hard for them to even get noticed. So we're bringing awareness to mixed martial arts for everybody to enjoy. The world's fastest growing sport, and has been for quite some time. I personally had my break with Epic Fighting, which is right here in San Diego, with Jason Stewart, who I want you to meet. I'm going to set you up.
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah. He's been a San Diego legend for, 20 odd years as well, like us, been in the game. He's a people person as well. But I was a commentator first for Epic, and I volunteered. And my parents would say, "How much did you get paid last night?" I'm like, "Mom and Dad, it's not about that. I didn't get paid, but I actually lost money by the time I had my cameraman, and the editor and all that stuff." But I had the big picture. This is 15 years ago, 10 years ago. And I had the big picture that, hey, this will all pay off social media-wise, marketing-wise, branding-wise.
Right.
And so that's what happened. And then there was an opportunity in the cage to be the cage announcer. And Jason said, "Hey, Los, give this a shot." And I loved it and haven't stopped ever since.
Wow.
So,
okay. So on the...
Talk about a second chapter in your life, right? Like in the not final chapters, but second half of my life.
That's what I call it, the second half of life.
There we
go.
go.
We're gonna we're gonna segue, right? Where you just said you were given the opportunity to be the cage announcer. So we're queuing back here because the Roaring Lion, I just had him do his own intro, and he actually broke the mic. It was so loud because what is the mic doing? Protecting against feedback or something? So we've lowered the mic a little bit because, and you don't even know what I'm talking about at this point, but in first time Real Deal Talk history, I'm going to have the guest announce himself, the Roaring Lion. So ladies and gentlemen, strap in and get ready. Hopefully we don't blow the mic on this one, but dude, do your thing. Carlos Kremer introing himself, the Roaring Lion. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, to all those watching in beautiful San Diego, California, and the millions watching around the world, brave nation, are you ready? Woo! We didn't break it that time, did we?
No, I was praying it wouldn't break in the middle of that. Oh my God! All right, so the roaring lion. I don't know where we go from there. So okay, you know what we'll do is we'll do a quick word from our sponsor, Real Deal Sleep. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, as I always say, from the bottom of my heart, for watching, for listening. You have no idea how much it means to me when you give me the feedback of how many people have been impacted by the show. Please share it. Please comment. I'm actually on the radar now to where some platforms are starting to shadow ban me a little bit. So please, you got to share it now. In order to make me come up elsewhere, you got to share it. So, and then if you want to support the show financially, come down to the shop, Real Deal Sleep. That's our sister company, the other company that we own that's actually paying the bills around here. Real Deal Sleep pays the bills. So if you want to support the company or support the show, come down to Real Deal Sleep. You can text me, DM me, book an appointment. You can go to the website, realdealsleep.com, for a mattress, a sleep system. I specialize in zero gravity sleep systems, which if you have any snoring issues, reflux, apnea, GERD, anything that requires extra attention, I can set you up with a customized zero gravity sleep system. I even have the number bed, which has customized firmness levels. So once again, folks, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Real Deal Sleep. If you want to support the show, you can go to the website, purchase pillows, sheets, you name it, anything. And back to Carlos, the Roaring Lion Kremer. Now, Carlos, is there enough lions in this show here, in this studio here?
The studio is packed with lions, by the way, everybody.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm in heaven. My wife would be in heaven. You're obviously in heaven with this. Everything I have, even the shirt I have right now, is a lion, right?
Unbelievable.
Tekka scours the internet to find all the lion things like you have as well. So big props to the studio. This is raging. May I say really quick to our listeners?
Yeah.
I'm in need of a bed, okay? As most people are in their life.
Yeah.
And if you go a different route, you go the cheap route, the inexpensive route, you're hurting yourself in the long run. So I'm talking to JD personally as I came in here, because we want to do like a double queen bed.
Or a double king.
Or a double king even for my family, because I have a little daughter, a son. We all love to cuddle, all that stuff, and watch TV. So I did want to say, if you're in San Diego area or in California alone, give JD a shout out. He can take care of you. And sleep is so crucial, JD. And it's one of the things that people don't think about, right? They invest in everything else, but not in their sleep.
That's right. And it's literally the foundation of health. If you are not sleeping well, you're not living well. Sleep is the only time the body repairs itself naturally. So if you are not maximizing your sleep, like literally 1 week of deprived sleep and you're already pre-diabetic, it's that crucial to your health. So thank you for the shout out.
Yeah.
I did not tell him to do that, by the way. He flowed right into it, because if you have to look at a sleep system or a mattress as an investment in your health and well-being, something you pay amortized over time. It's like $1.50, $1 a night over the next 10, 15 years. It's nothing in the grand scheme of things. So like you said, it's important to invest in that the sleeping surface that you're on, because it dictates your entire health. So thank you once again for the shout out, bro.
Of course. Very impressed with the location and the inventory. And everything.
Cool showroom, right?
Great showroom.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, feel VIP.
That's right.
Once you step in.
Oh, yeah. It's a total VIP experience.
Deal. Yes.
All right, so speaking of VIPs, Carlos, let's go back and find out when the Roaring Lion was like just maybe a purring cat. Mm-hmm. Like, how did this guy... Where did you come from? Where were you born and raised? Let's go back.
Born in Northridge, California. Okay. So San Fernando Valley. Yep. Went to Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic grade school, Crespi Carmelite High School, which was an all-guys Catholic high school in L.A. Had those, my mom and dad, both of them passed within the last 3 years.
Sorry to hear
but
that.
they were a huge impact on my life. Raised me, like I'm trying to raise my family.
So together they set the model parents from the beginning of your childhood?
Yeah, they did. I've got a brother, older brother, and two older sisters as well. So I had some great role models around me. Yeah. I always knew I wanted to do something in entertainment. So I was always an actor. I was always in plays and doing like, commercials and whatnot. And then my love for mixed martial arts was so strong that I just started going to events and volunteering and saying, hey, do you need a interviewer in the locker room? Do you need a commentator? And these guys are like, how much is it going to cost me? I'm like, absolutely nothing. So they said, okay.
And that was an early age.
Early age, yeah. So started chipping down the walls on that. And to be in the place I'm at right now, I mean, it really is humbling and kind of surreal too, JD. Because especially like in the Middle East, they have so many options of guys that they could use, even celebrities there that they could use. And they went with me. And I know that they've been super happy because I've given them everything I have.
Of course.
And they've given me so much more. So it's all about the fighters as we base it all about them. But like personally, I've had such a track record with my health. I've had 28 surgeries on my body. Yeah.
So what's that from?
That is from a variety of sports growing up. I played college football at UC Davis.
So just so you know, Carlos, and my guests right now, they're waiting for me to do this. You just jumped like 25 years ahead on me. You can't jump ahead that fast with me.
That's how old I am.
We just because it's going to take a while to get to the But there's a lot in there.
Let's go incrementally.
There's a lot in there that we just brushed right over.
Yeah.
And I know there's some stuff going on, whether it was in grade school. Let's get it. So talk to me about early on anything that happened in your life very early on as a kid, like some of your first memories of anything that was impactful. You said you had great parents, models, great role models around you, but anything like when early on, any sports, you said any theater. Talk to me about early school days. Did you like going to Catholic school? How did that go?
I loved it back then.
Yeah.
We have friends that we're still tight today. And
wow.
Yeah, first grade and on.
No kidding.
So yeah, we're going to have Our Lady of Lourdes reunion soon. Again, so looking forward to that. But a couple things that I learned, early memories. Like
give me early memories here.
Yeah, I remember a kid. He was probably about 12, and he was in an arcade, and we were at Bass Lake, and I was with my brother and his friends. And this kid was smoking a cigarette and had like a wife beater on, and was pretty advanced. And he was kind of popping off, and my brother goes, "Yeah, just go up and push him." So I was like, "Okay." I went up and pushed him, and the guy just cracked me. Right? You just wasn't even expecting it. I think I was 8 years old.
Yeah,
maybe 9. So that taught me a lesson right away about life, that you need to square up and be ready to go for whatever situation comes, right? Business, emotionally, relationships, whatever, be ready. And from that on, I thanked him for it. Because he in his own way, he didn't know, but it helped me on the long trail of things. But yeah, that kind of gave me inspiration in a way. I'd known some Marines. I was a Marine captain.
Yep.
So growing up, I had known some Marines who were family friends, and I was like, when I get out of college, I don't want to sit behind a desk, right? I have that type of personality. I'm not a 9-to-5 guy in a corporate world.
Right.
So
you can't cage the lion.
You can't cage the lion.
Yeah, lions aren't meant to be in cages.
No, you learn. My wife said you can't tame the lion. You learn to live in the jungle. Right. So, So that's what I did. I had an incredible time in the Marine Corps, but really going back, I loved basketball and football.
Yeah.
And those were my two things. And I got recruited to play both at UC Davis. Yeah.
Get out of
and
here.
some other schools.
What position you play in football?
Football, I was an outside linebacker, but they moved me to D-end, even though smaller, but a pass rush specialist. So that was fun.
No kidding.
But I had my knee blown out by a teammate in practice. Third year, beginning of the third year, and I've never been the same again.
No kidding.
Cheap shot from behind.
Oh, it was on purpose?
Yeah. That you talk about something that kind of changes your life too.
Yes.
I went from an athlete with pro aspirations to just right away it's done.
Did he get kicked off the team?
I don't even think they did anything disciplinary action to him.
Did everybody know it was
Lunny Lundstrom? I remember his name like that, and if I saw him again, I would give him a firm handshake and a hug and say, "You motivated me to different levels.
Yeah.
Despite what you did to me, I'm going to rise above and be a better man because of it.
It changed the whole trajectory of your life.
Everything. Even today. I mean, it's hard. You see me. It's hard to walk for me today, but it's all worth it.
Did everybody know it was a cheap shot? Like, did the whole team know that he did it on purpose?
Yeah, because it was blatant. Our quarterback was Chris Peterson, who was the head coach for Boise. Remember Boise State, and then
Yes.
Washington. And the quarterbacks in college have a jersey on, like a red
Right,
jersey. You
touch
can't touch him. Yeah, so he had his jersey on. I couldn't touch him anyway, but I got past him, of course, and going to the quarterback and just took me out in practice.
In practice. And so did you know as soon as you went down, like, that it was him that did it?
Yeah, I knew it was him that did it, but I mean, the knee popped. You could hear it across the field. And I was kind of, still out of it. I had my dad take me to the weight room that night and still thinking I was going to be okay and play and all that. So it was an 8-hour surgery, screws, staples, pins, all that stuff in
And this
my
was
knee.
high school.
This is college.
College,
which makes it even worse.
Gosh.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
but you know what? It taught me a lot. It taught me about humility. It taught me about always having backup plans.
Yeah.
Because that was my life, right? I was just
Right.
an athlete. That's all I knew. That was kind of how I was labeled and my identity. So
Right.
then it was like, okay, now you've got to use your mind.
Yeah.
Now you've got to do some other things. So
And it also makes you appreciate being healthy.
Yeah.
Being able to walk.
yeah.
The appreciation.
So from that, I've had 8 knee surgeries on that right knee, 3 on the left. And then
Did the guy apologize?
he came to where I was living. Like I was in the hospital 8 days, and then he didn't come to the hospital.
He didn't? Did any of the teammates?
Teammates came.
Why didn't
But
he? Did he
I
just
don't-
not like you?
I don't know what happened. I
You
didn't
hear me?
even
I'm getting
really
like-
know it.
You hear me? I'm getting like irritated by this.
Yeah, thank you, JD. I
Thank
love
you.
that. Yeah,
I wish I was there.
Yeah. So, but he came to where I was living, and my mom was there, and she goes, "Why are you here?" And he goes, "Because the coaches told me to."
Oh, wow.
And my mom's like was 5'1".
Get the F
She
outta
was
here.
ready to kill him. From New Mexico. That just is strong. We had to separate her from from him, but God bless her. Love your mom and
Yeah,
dad.
I'm like pissed.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
You know what I mean?
I haven't been able to really talk about this through
You
forever.
See? Yeah, and,
Forever.
and I knew it because you breezed right over this, and I knew there was something in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I'm like, and the fact that he had no remorse and no, was it because was he also a defensive end? It was like
He was an offensive. I think he was an offensive guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The
little
coaches
chip on
did-
his shoulder,
yeah.
and the whole thing. And this is back 1980. 86 or something,
and
right?
and the coaches didn't do anything.
Didn't do a thing.
Didn't
As
do a
far as
thing.
I know,
What
yeah.
about your close teammate friends? They were
pissed.
They were
Yeah,
pissed.
Yeah, they were pissed. And some of them, even to this day, when I talk to them, they're upset about it.
Did
So,
they give him a beat down or anything? Like it did nothing?
No, they didn't. Not to my knowledge.
Not to your knowledge. And
But he has been. Apparently, he's been a little leery, for the past 30 some odd years that I was going to, come have a little chat with him. So that in itself is good enough that he's kind of looking over his shoulder. But,
Well, God,
things happen
yeah,
and,
I mean-
and you move on. And there's one love for everybody.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot in my life that, man, it takes so much more venom to hate.
It does.
Right?
Yeah.
Instead of just opening your arms and loving everybody has a story. Everybody has their own challenges in life. We talk about our stuff going on, but everybody has their own stuff. And we're here for you. I always want to be here to improve people's lives.
Yeah.
Right? By meeting, not
100%.
make it, challenging or whatever. I want it fruitful, eventful, positive. That's all I want. And I want those people around me as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, just listen to what he just said. Listen to what he just said. Right there. Faithful, fruitful, positive. This is all I talk about, Carlos.
Is it?
And there's a
Yeah.
reason that you and I was just drawn to you that
Yeah.
night. And I
Yeah.
said, dude, we got to connect because we have the exact same mindset. Positive, giving, generous people around me is all I want. And if they're not going to be around me.
Right.
God bless them.
Yep.
I'm going to impact their life while they're here for a short, whatever point they're in my life, right?
Right.
I know this is amazing. I love it. So man, this guy, huh?
Yeah.
But you know what? If you think about it, I know you've thought about it probably a lot, like where your life went because of that. Like, where would your life have gone had that not happened? You might not be the Roaring Lion #1 cage announcer in the world.
That's true.
You know
That's
what I'm
a good
saying?
point. Yeah, probably wouldn't.
Probably wouldn't have.
Yeah.
You would have gone to football, maybe, I don't know, we went to the pros. I don't know.
Maybe some broadcasting after that.
Broadcasting in the football arena?
Yeah. I don't know. But you know what? We have one life, and I do have to give. There's options now. Like I know you've heard of stem cell therapy.
Yes. Yeah.
I've got a buddy, Scotty, over at CHIPSA, and Ed Clay over there at CHIPSA in Tijuana, that are doing incredible things for athletes with stem cells. I got my wife Tekka in there. 30 million stem cells they shot her up with. Wow. They did the checks on her. She needed 5 to 6 surgeries of just different things on her body.
Yeah.
So they shot up the ankles, the hips, the shoulders, the elbows, everything. And she is already feeling a ton better in that regard. She's dying from other things, but do have to give a huge shout out to Chipsa and Scotty and Ed Clay over there. I'm looking forward to getting this done for me myself in the future, and I'll keep you posted on the info on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. It's incredible. All right. So we're now in anything in earlier, like grade school, when you were a little kid, like you remember your parents did your dad work a lot? Did mom, like what was the scenario there?
Dad was a insurance agent. Like I'm Kremer Insurance, by the way. I've had that since 1997 here in San Diego. So we're right off Miramar Road there again.
No way. See, I didn't know this.
Close. We do it all: auto, home, life, commercial, business, workers' comp, general liability, the whole thing. So my dad was a 40-year state farm agent. And
No way.
I saw that. Yeah. And I was like, I went with farmers to do my own thing. And I love farmers as a company. They're just incredible. So I went that route, and I could have actually inherited his business, but I didn't want to live in Northridge in LA.
Yeah.
I wanted to get out of there. So I started my own thing in San Diego, and the rest has been.
What age did you start that?
I was 30, so I was out of the Marine Corps, just out and starting insurance.
And so your dad, it's so funny because I was just on the phone with a good friend of mine yesterday, Frank, who's been his own state farm agent for many, many, many years. Just had this conversation. So he was with State Farm. Okay, and then how about mom?
Like my dad. Mom was a realtor and a housewife. So
Nice.
she was always working, had that New Mexico, work ethic, had devoured like 2 or 3 books a week that she would read. Super intelligent gal, not afraid to share her opinion. And you know what? I'm very grateful I had her in my corner growing up.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, like, if I didn't play, for instance, maybe I was 10 years old, I'd come home kind of depressed. What happened? Well, the coach didn't put me in today or whatever. Yeah. My mom gets on the phone. She's dialing the coach. So I learned to not share everything with her, right? Because she was such it's okay. It's okay. But, So anyway, that's the thing, though, JD. Life is so short. I love what you're doing here with the podcast, getting local San Diego, icons involved, and all for one cause.
Yeah.
And that's just having a better, stronger love and community.
It's right, and just to impact as much of an impact that we can make in this world, and I'm doing this by leveraging other people's amazing people's stories and testimonies.
Right.
Because as you said, and I love that you said that, guys, Carlos, is that everybody's got their stuff. Everybody's going through their own challenges. Everybody's going through their own hell. Everybody is.
Yeah.
There's nobody that isn't unless you're a child.
Right.
And even the children these days are now going through hell. Right.
Yeah.
But we won't get too far into that.
Social media and bullying and all that. And I know
identity crises,
We need to do something for bullying here in San Diego. So
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to you about that. 'Cause
Yes.
I'm going to try to head up something on that.
Beautiful. That would be because I'm interconnected with so many guys in the athletic realm, and a guy I had. In fact, I'll send you the podcast guy on here. His name is Greg. He went into the whole thing that he runs an organization called One Family Athletics. That's for young athletes, and not just for athletic, but emotional training. Anyway, the whole thing. So yeah, let's talk about that.
Right.
So go ahead.
I was going to say, kind of to round up the shaping of me as a young man too. I grew up like you did in a time where there wasn't really knives or guns or whatnot, but it was men's word, right? So if a lack of respect was shown back in the day, I would get into it, right? So by the time I was 20, I'd been arrested like 7 or 8 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for fighting. Never picked them, but would finish it and step in. But the last time was for a felony because I knocked the guy unconscious.
Oh, wow.
And I spent a couple months looking up at the ceiling, going, "What am I doing?" Like his words, big deal. I can walk away.
Right.
Yeah. And this ego can kill you. It can take you away from the ones you love. It can harm you, but it also can help you, right? It can motivate you in certain ways if it's under check. But it was that night that I just said, you know what? No more. No more. I don't care what happens. I'm not, unless I'm defending my wife or family or in some kind of danger, I just can't do this anymore.
And so what age was that?
That was 20. 20 years old.
So the last one was, did you serve time? Did you go in?
Was arrested, never convicted.
Yeah.
So because they always found it mutual combat, but they would say, the judge was like, it's mutual combat, but there could be some excessive force that was shown, right? So that was the question then. But yeah, that played a huge part in my life. I never thought I would live to 30 when I was back young.
Yeah.
Something I'm sharing with you I hadn't shared with anybody else for a long, long time. So
what'd you get into in the early on? Did you get into any drinking, any drugs?
I was drinking, but sports kept me pretty much intact.
Yeah.
I'd go out with my buddies and stuff, but it was really fighting and that was the toughest challenge for me.
Yeah.
But learning all that stuff now and getting some breaks, and fortunately none of the guys ever died.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of charges there for knockouts and things like that. So you just kind of like you, JD, right? You wake up one morning and you're like, you know what? I'm going to live my life the way I should live it and the way that's going to make me happy.
Yep.
Whatever I was doing was a kind of a rage from inside that I needed to let out.
Yeah, and I wondered,
to talk about.
Did you ever talk about where that came from?
My mom was pretty hard on me and us growing up.
Yeah.
So a lot of it came from there. It was kind of her way or the highway type thing. Never had a say in anything. So you get all that kind of bottled up in you. You have to let it out somehow.
Yes.
So that's pretty much
and then
where that was.
How was Dad? Like, was Dad just like, oh, talk to your mother?
He was always great. He was always super supportive. He wasn't a dad that would throw a football around with me, or play basketball with me. But he was a dad who was a good leader, provided for the family, and was always there.
Yep.
I should have opened up to them a lot more than I did,
Is that something you think back?
Yeah, I think back on that. Anytime I ever did open up to them about something, they were just right in my corner,
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to disappoint them either on a lot of things. So, but anyway, turning that kind of shaped me, and that's why I said I wanted to be in the Marine Corps. I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to.
At what point did you know you wanted to be Marine? Like, because you're in high school, but now you're in Catholic high school.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Catholic high school. So knew I wanted to go to college, play football in college. My brother and sister had gone to UC Davis. Another sister went to Sacramento State. So it just was kind of destined to go to UC Davis. And shout out to the Aggies.
Yeah.
They're doing great.
Yep.
So tough night last night, by the way, and props to San Diego.
Right.
San Diego State, I mean, just
amazing.
Getting to the final game is unbelievable.
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 Yeah.
So huge props to San Diego State. Thank you for an incredible season that we will never forget.
An exciting run.
An exciting
amazing run.
Yeah.
Especially to get to the final, the last section, second jumper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they gave UConn a good game.
They did.
Right? You know, UConn is very, very tough,
Solid.
as we know.
Yep.
But, yeah, so things happen like that, and that's kind of why I wanted to turn myself around and be a role model, because I have nephews and nieces and all that, and I thought it was very important for me to be, you know, a man that they would look up to.
Yep.
So,
and so now we're
changed
talking
my life.
So now we're talking about you went for football, right?
Right.
And now you're about. So it was in your college when you made this decision to stop fighting.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now football. Obviously, we know what happened there. That
Right.
was your third year, right? How did it go up to those, like the first and second year?
Great. I played as a freshman, true freshman on varsity, got in a couple games, so that was awesome.
Yeah.
And then the next year I scout, I redshirted, so I'd save my eligibility. So I literally had 3 years of eligibility left when I got that final injury. So that was tough.
Yeah.
But life goes on, right?
Yeah.
And that's why, like, I've got my son London in basketball now. Get this, he's 12 years old, just turned 12. He's in 6th grade, 6 feet tall, 220 pounds.
Wow.
He's sixth
You're
grade.
kidding me.
Yeah, he's as big as the coaches.
How tall?
players.
6'3"?
6 foot.
6
already.
foot.
Yeah.
220. That's a
220.
big boy.
Yeah.
That's really big.
Yeah. He's a big boy and doing great in basketball. So
What about football? Is he going to play football?
I know.
That's a big.
I'm leery. If he wants to play in high school, I'll let him play,
Okay.
of course.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I worry so much about
I know,
it. It's a car accident every
is.
time these guys hit.
I know.
And you get guys like me and you lining up
Yeah.
against each other, and then guys 300 pounds, and it's not good for the brain or the body or anything. But if he wants to do it, he can definitely go for it.
And that's what I'm going to do with my son too. He's 7 right now. I've got him in flag football, which is
Awesome.
the most amazing experience ever. But as far as tackle go, because I've had a couple of pro ball players on the show. Jacques Césaire was one of them, Charger player.
Yeah.
And I bring the same topic up to all of them, and they all said this. Him, Corey Withrow, a couple other guys. They said, JD, I wouldn't get your kid in pads earlier than 12. Like literally 11, 12 is the earliest I'd even think about it.
Right.
Because you got coaches out there that are getting their kids in at 7, 8, 9.
It's too much.
Yeah.
They're burnt out by high school.
Yeah, it's just not worth it because they don't know how to hit properly.
Right.
So that's when you have even more of a chance of getting injured.
Right.
Right, at least.
And you're playing with the spine, the neck.
Yes. Yeah.
It's serious.
Yep.
I just think I agree with that. There's no reason for kids to be tackling until high school.
Correct.
Really.
Yeah.
So,
Earlier than minimum 12. So this will be interesting.
Keep me posted. Love to support.
As
and,
you know,
yeah.
you and I, men like us and men period, we love hitting people in football.
Right.
It was my most pleasurable thing I did in my life.
Right.
Was pulverizing people.
Right.
Loved
Terrorizing
it.
people.
Terrorizing them.
Yes.
It was beautiful.
What did you play, JD?
I was
in where?
Linebacker. I was in Jersey, so I
Jersey?
grew up in Jersey. So I was actually a tight end and one of the linebackers. So I was actually we played a 5'2" monster man. I was the monster guy. So I was the roving linebacker.
Love it. Yeah, they had me as a rover in high school
the Terminator.
too. Yeah. I love it. Are you a Frankie Edgar fan?
No.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
He's a buddy of mine.
Yeah, oh, really?
You're asking. Yeah, because of the Jersey thing
not,
and all
not that I'm not a fan. I just don't know who he is.
Right.
Let me put it that way. I didn't mean to say no. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, super guy.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's kind of that Jersey attitude too.
Yeah,
If you're liked
and
appreciated, they respect you. Right, from Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Very quick. You're either with or not on board.
That's right. Yeah,
with the Jersey guys.
That's
right?
it.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's cut and dry.
Right.
You're in or you're out.
Which is nice.
There's
I
no
like
middle
that.
of the road.
I like that East Coast mentality out here too.
Yeah, we're not going to like sugarcoat things.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So, all right. So we're in college, you got the knee. At that point, is that when you thought about the Marines then?
You know what? Marines had always been on my mind, but I was like, you know what? No better time than now to pursue it.
And why were the Marines on your mind? I can't remember. Did you tell me that?
I just wanted to be with what I thought was the best fighting force that we had and that I could be on and that I could defend my country with. I really have. My dad was a staff sergeant in the Air Force, so I have a lot of patriotism, of course. old school too. I really felt like I wanted to serve for my country.
Yep.
So I'm super happy, like you in the Navy.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, how happy are you that you did that? Looking on the big,
it's my whole life.
Right.
Number
it
one,
shaped you as the man you are today.
Discipline, attention to detail. It shaped me, and then it brought me here to paradise.
Right.
That's my number one most thing I'm thankful for in the military is I would have never been in San Diego, and I didn't know this paradise existed. I knew it was here, but I had no idea.
But what's beautiful is you created all of this yourself. You had the vision, of course, help from others and support from your family.
Yeah.
But like what you and I have done is kind of on an island alone. And that's good for the listeners too.
Yeah.
If you want to try something, I always say follow your passion in life. The money will come later.
Right.
Follow your passion. I did years of MMA for nothing. And it was, I never felt that it was for nothing. I felt I was enriched every time and that I was giving back to the community and giving the fighters the props and the respect that they deserve. And it was never about me. Yeah. And then look what happens. I get to be on the grandest scale of them all.
Yep.
You know, millions of people watching. It's surreal of what it is. It really is surreal to me. And I'm very grateful.
And we're going to dig into that story.
Yeah.
So once we're going to, the whole last part of this interview is going to be literally digging in. I can't wait to really dig into that journey because I love what you've already shared. What you just did was, and it's what I've done with this show. I'm not doing this like I'm not chasing money here. I'm chasing to make an impact in the world.
There we go.
Period.
Just like Brave, making an impact on the landscape of mixed martial arts. You're making an impact here.
I have faith that if the money is meant to come from this, it will. Because everybody's like, what are you doing with it? How's it going? Right. Are you monetizing yet? You know, people, are you monetizing? You monetizing? That's all they say, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no. I'm just flowing from my heart, my passion of impacting the world and leveraging my amazing guest testimony. And I mean, the people that are being inspired by you guys is unbelievable.
Right.
And that's what it's all about. So anyway, that's why I loved what you shared there. So going back, military, Marines, give me some Marine stories.
The Marines was
when you went
great.
into boot camp. Were you just fired up? Was it?
I was fired up. I was so fired up that I shaved. They cut my hair, and I didn't think it was short enough, so I made like a mohawk out of it. And our drill sergeant did not like that at all. He's like, "What are you trying to do?" He was like the gunny on Officer and a Gentleman. Yeah. He was exactly like that guy. But we went through boot camp, and he smiled at the end, and I was like, I didn't even know you had teeth because I never saw this guy smile. But it was it was tough. It was a challenge. I knew it was going to be, pretty tough. I think we had like a third, maybe 40% of the guys failed out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back then.
Wow.
But they're more strict, on physical things and all that. So even though I had the bad knee, I said I'm somehow going to make it through. So kind of, pass through tests and played down my injury and all that stuff. But,
yeah, did you even admit that you had that injury? Because normally if you say that you've had that, they won't even let you in.
Right. And I was asthmatic too, which I, didn't tell them about that either. I just wanted anything I could do to be defending my country. Wow. That was it. So yeah, made it through. The Marines was a phenomenal time. It was just one of the only times in your life, really, that you have no responsibility. You're not married. You have no kids, right? You're traveling the world. It was a special time. But man, nothing. And I've seen this from your posts, and I remember you saying that nothing is better in this life than being a dad.
Yes. Yeah.
I saw that from you, even on the drive here.
Yeah.
I remembered that from you. And it was like, man, I have a 6-year-old daughter as well as London. And London's incredible, my best friend. And my daughter's 6. She's blind and autistic.
Wow.
And she is, man, the biggest joy of my life. Like, I can't wait to spend time with her. She every day is just a new horizon on what she's learning.
Wow.
You talk about fearless. You talk about being brave. She teaches me about that every day.
Yes.
So I taught her how to swim. I've taught her. So one day in the pool, I put her water right here on the side, and I didn't tell her. And she went like this. She went. I go, Crimson, you saw that water. What's going on here? And then we threw a ball out in the yard, a big yoga ball. and she followed it and went right to it. So we took her back into testing, and they had said she was 100% blind.
Yeah.
Now she's not. Now she can see some kind of shadows or shapes.
Oh my gosh, come on.
Broke down crying on that, right? I mean, just
how
a
long ago
miracle.
was that?
That was about probably a year and a half, 2 years
Wow.
ago. Yeah. So we've been working with that, and then there's different type of therapy that they can have now. Light therapy out of a clinic in Berlin, Germany, which is like the Fedorov Clinic, world famous, and that helps vision. There's stem cell treatments they can do. So Elon Musk is talking about a Neuralink that they can put in. It's she has optic nerve hypoplasia.
Yeah.
So her optic nerve is just a little too small to let in light. But with all the advancements coming today, there's hope.
Oh, absolutely.
There's hope.
Absolutely.
So I told, anyway, I talked to a lot of the guys in Brave. They all know my situation, Brave Combat Federation. But after one event, His Highness, who's the Prince of Bahrain, Sheikh Khalid bin Ahmad Al Khalifa, said, "Carlos, can I talk to you?" And I was like, "Yes, Your Highness, of course." And he said, "Does your daughter see yet?" And I said, "Your Highness, no, she doesn't. But thank you so much for the care. I didn't even know he knew I had a daughter, right?"
Yeah.
And then he said, he looked at me and he said, "Carlos, I want to help." So I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" He wants to do anything to get her vision back. So I immediately broke down in tears. Right? I don't cry unless it's maybe Rudy that I'm watching, a good football movie or something like that.
Rocky.
Love story, Rocky, right? You'd think I'm watching a love story by me watching Rocky. But this was the most incredible gift of kindness, love, friendship, and care that I've ever received. And we haven't done anything yet because COVID and all the restrictions, and now they're just opening up. But I wanted to say to His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Ahmad Al Khalifa, thank you from the bottom of my heart. This has been incredible. But this is what kind of loyalty you guys have to Brave Combat Federation.
Wow.
That's why the fighters fight like they do for Brave. And I'll send you clips of fights and things. It's on another level. They're just on another level.
So,
but this care, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
So His Highness basically said, find the best place in the world that does this and let's give it a shot. So that's what this man does. He leads and changes lives of countless people every day, and you never hear about it. And he's taking Brave Combat Federation to where it is today, and he's going to keep going, and Brave is going to rival, the UFC very, very shortly as far as exposure.
And give me the difference between the two federations now that we're talking about it, like between what's the two main differences between these two organizations?
Yeah.
Like, why are they coming up so fast? Why did they do that so quickly? Why are the athletes so, because I know that the UFC, without knowing too much about it, that the all due respect, because I don't really know, but all I can see is that they're kind of just numbers, like the fighters.
Right.
And if they're marketable, they're going to get paid.
Right.
But as soon as they're going to be kind of just thrown away.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying the right thing
No,
here.
you totally are. And that's a difference. With Brave Combat Federation, they look more for the Rocky stories. We look for the guys, that are in like Pakistan or Morocco and training out of a garage, and don't have the facilities that these current warriors do. The reason Brave is so different is because it's led by His Highness. Muhammad Shahid is a fighter. His Highness is a fighter. He's undefeated in boxing and mixed martial arts. But it's fighters for fighters. So say like one time a fighter from San Diego came out there, and then right before the fight, he didn't pass his eye test. So they didn't let him fight. His Highness pays him, of course, where other organizations would say, no, we're not going to take care of you. They just take care of their athletes like no other. They brand and market the athletes like no other. And they're really smart in that they go country to country, and they're not just making it a one stop.
Yeah.
They're building a relationship forever with this country. So I'm meeting, all kinds of incredible dignitaries from every country, and being a peace ambassador in a way for the United States to all of these nations around the world who have their own thoughts on what an American is in their mind and how we act and all that. And I want to eliminate all of those. I want to every time show up with a smile, super polite, incredibly generous, right? Just how we are.
Yeah.
But I want to really show that truly is America. All that you hear about, put that away. Talk to guys like me, JD, some of the other guys. But that in itself has been an amazing run as well. But you see my loyalty there.
Oh, absolutely. I love this.
I've flown, I had a Widowmaker heart attack.
You did?
I did. Yeah, on top of all my other stuff. So this was like 3 years ago. I spent 4 days in the ICU. And they released me, and I told my wife, I said, baby, she goes, we're finally getting home. And I go, baby, pack me up. I'm going to Abu Dhabi. And I flew to Abu Dhabi that next evening after having a Widowmaker and didn't tell the doctors or anything and just did it. My hip exploded from a hip replacement surgery I had, and I flew to Jordan. Literally,
so wait,
bleeding from my hip.
So what do you mean the Widowmaker? You flew out? Where did you fly out, and what were you doing?
I flew to Abu Dhabi for a Brave. Brave had an event.
Do an announcement.
They had an event in Abu Dhabi, so it was huge. But that's the kind of thing like His Highness is there for me, right? So I'm not going to stop. I will make every event I can physically make. So that's the kind of loyalty though that we have.
So now we're gonna. There's so much to unfold with this career here. Gosh. Yeah. All right. So go back. So Marines, let's get out of the Marines. 93.
Yeah.
So did you go in 89, 93? That's when I served the Navy.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
4 years.
Yeah. And you wound up here.
I wound up here.
I wound up at MCRD San Diego as a series commander.
Yeah.
That's how I came to San Diego.
I was North Island. I landed on North Island in an aircraft carrier.
Awesome.
And then went right to Mission Beach. And that's where,
It all began.
It all began.
Yeah. And did you meet your wife out here?
I met Rachel 22 years ago.
Wow.
Through my Kaiser Permanente. I was an X-ray technologist. Doing the graveyard shift, and I worked with her sister, and we all went out for a party one night, and she asked, can I bring my sister, which is now my wife? So that's a long story short. I'll sum it up right there real quick, that her sister brought my now wife, her sister, to this hangout. We were all hanging out, and I thoroughly was attracted to her because she just had the most positive, bubbly, amazing energy.
Yeah.
She was just so nice and so sweet and just fun, and that was it. So I pursued heavily from that point right there, and I never looked back. We literally never parted ways since that first night that I met her. In the next 24 hours, I call it, because we just partied that night and all went our separate ways.
Right.
And I called her the whole next day until she came over. I'm like, come on, let's hang out.
Awesome.
So that's the long story short.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back, where were we now? So we were coming out of the. Oh, that's right. That's what brought me here. So coming out of the Marines for you,
right?
When did you start doing any announcing at all? Or you said you were doing some.
Yeah. Coming out of the Marines, I moved to Sacramento, and I was starting. I was working for NBC out there, and trying to start a career as a sportscaster because that's what my true love was.
Yeah.
I also started insurance at the same time. Couldn't really do both, so gave up on NBC, which looking back, I wish I would have kept going on that.
Okay.
And then just started doing insurance and was like, man, wherever I do insurance, I'm going to have to live there for the rest of my life.
Right.
Do I go back to San Diego or do I live in Sacramento, California, which is a beautiful area for those folks out there, but it's pretty dead. You're 2 hours from Tahoe, an hour and a half from San Francisco. But beside that, you're in your own little world there. So I was like, no, I'm going to come back to San Diego, start up with the insurance, and go from there. But my love for mixed martial arts, my love for announcing, my love for interviewing people as well, still flourished through that time. So I knew I was going to do something in entertainment still, no matter what I did with insurance.
Yep.
Like you said, I think for everybody out there too, keep setting goals, right? Every year I make a list and I try my best to accomplish it. We're going to fail short in some, but I big on writing things down and always trying to better yourself.
Yeah, that's the key.
right?
That's the number one thing.
Like 1% better every day.
1% better. A guy was just on my podcast, Jeff Fenster, preaches
The
this.
Fenster.
The Fenster. He was just here last week or the week before. And we talked about that. 1% better every day.
Right.
At the end of the day, like you've said many times, life is short. And it's never too late.
Yeah.
That's the key here.
Yeah.
Like, you're 57, I'm 52. Right. We're kind of just getting into our zone now.
Right. I feel like we're literally hitting, for myself, my prime right now.
Exactly.
People ask me, how long do you think you can keep going? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, Bruce Buffer's 67, I think, right? He's still going strong.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know. I think into my 70s, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, until the wheels come off.
Yeah, literally. Right. Brave makes
and
jokes.
you've had some wheels come off.
I have. Brave jokes that if I die, they'd like it to be in the cage for them.
That'd be a story.
To make it a nice historic moment for them. But like after Brave won, as an announcer, I give everything I have to everything. You see.
Oh, yeah.
So at the end of Brave won, I was in the parking lot on my back. People were walking around me, just covered in sweat. And, that's how hard I give everything I have, Told you about flying to Jordan, not smart, bleeding, could have had blood clots, all of that, but
so go back and we're NBC, you do the State Farm thing. When did you, because you said you have all these surgeries.
Yep.
So what was your first kind of introduction into the fight game and announcing? Give me that.
First introduction to the fight game was in Ventura at the fairgrounds. My first interview was Roy Big Country Nelson.
Yes.
Yeah. And that was like, man, that could be like 17 years ago or so. It's amazing how time is flying.
Yes.
And another thing, JD, if you want to get involved in anything, right? Like you're a prime example, just go for it.
Yeah.
You've created this whole universe around you that you made, right?
Yeah.
I've made my own, and man, we're blessed to do what we love. That's for
right.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something, life is supposed to be grand. Life is supposed to be enjoyed.
Right.
And everybody's so stressed out.
Right.
They're not
enjoying.
No, not at all. The percentages are so high.
Yeah.
Everybody's just so stressed out. I got to do this. I got to go here. I got to go there. Wait a minute. Slow down. And listen, my wife and I, we go 1,000,000 miles a minute. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Our schedule is crazy. But you got to enjoy the journey here.
I have to put the phone down, too, at some time.
That's the toughest part.
Yeah. That's what I think with my daughter. She never asked for anything monetary. Right? It's only what she wants is to be around me or be around family. It's the sweetest, most purest, kindest heart that I've ever seen in my life. She's what motivates me now, right? Like before, we had talked about my knee injury and like, I'm going to do this despite of what's happened to me. She's now, and my wife, Tekka, they're what's motivating me now. I want to get them as healthy and as well that they can be so we can really enjoy life. Yeah, it's been really, really tough on Tekka.
I'll bet.
And then a couple of years ago as well, I was coming home from a Brave event, was a mile away from home. I had been gone a month. We had 4 shows, which were big, and I got rear-ended by a drunk teenager in my Uber. And he was going like 40 miles an hour. So on top of that, I've had to have 2 shoulder surgeries and a wrist replacement from that accident. So just to add, but you know what? Like we had talked about, everybody's got issues. Everybody's got things they're dealing with. Don't be stopped.
Yeah, just keep going.
Do not stop. And like we said, we have many friends that have passed away, right? The time is now. Don't wait for tomorrow to tell somebody you love them. Don't wait for tomorrow to start your goals and your planning for your business, right? Do it today.
It's never too late. It's never too late. Get started because life is supposed to be enjoyed. If there's something that's on your heart, like I'll tell you what, one of the best feedback that I get on my show, and it's happened now, about 6 people have told me this so far, and there may be more that I don't know about, I'm sure, that because of my show, they're inspired to do their own podcast, to do something that they've wanted to do, that this show inspired them to do it.
Right.
just to go for it. Like, they're like, how did you do that? I'm like, it was on my heart and my mind, and my church kind of pulled this calling out of me, and they gave me the I'll say balls to do it.
Right.
Yeah. To finally make the move. And now
it takes huevos to do this.
That's the bottom line.
Anything you're doing on your own, right? Stepping out of your comfort zone. That's what I love. I love being challenged.
And putting yourself out there.
Yeah. Have you, quick question, I know you're into fitness like I am. Do you do cold plunges?
Oh, yeah.
I know you do cryotherapy.
Cryotherapy 5 days a week, yeah.
I'm sponsored by cryotherapy right there in, right by the mall, right there in La Jolla.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one is it? Is it not Chilling Out, is it?
It's Chilling Out.
Is it Chilling Out?
Chilling Out Cryotherapy, yeah.
That's the first company that introduced me. Brian, you know Brian then?
Yes, I do. Brian Dyer.
Dyer.
Brian Dyer, yeah.
Yes.
Navy SEAL, black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
I first met Brian rolling with him and learning with him in jiu-jitsu with Jeff Glover. But Brian he put into Victory MMA now a Chilling Out cryotherapy, cold plunge, all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, he's doing cold plunges too?
Yeah, he has the cold plunge there as well at Victory. So you do cryotherapy 4 times a week?
4 or 5 days a week.
Wow.
Yeah, religiously.
And how long do you go in for?
5 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yep. I go minimum 4 days a week and up to 5.
Morning, night?
I start in the morning. I start my day with it. Mm-hmm. Like, I'll go right from my house, go right there. I've got the owner via text. She lets me in early.
So like 7 a.m. or
no, because she doesn't open till 9:30.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't open till 10, so she lets me in early, like before the crowd comes in, and then it's the coldest too.
Right.
So I'm the first one of the day. It's the coldest.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I especially so I swear by it, and I do once or twice a month. I do the cold plunge. I do Wim Hof breathing at Breathe Degrees.
Okay.
Have you heard of this place?
No.
It's in Carlsbad. Tyler Forbes. Shout out to him. He's on my podcast. Tyler Forbes. He's one of the best podcasts I've ever done because he talks about health and wellness for 2 hours. He owns Wim Hof breathing place called Breathe Degrees in Carlsbad, where you do an hour intensive breathing workshop, which is unbelievable, Carlos. And I'm
gonna have to try that out.
Highly recommend this because you get your body fully oxygenated, and you take your body from acidic to alkaline in 1 hour. It's the only way the body can become alkaline is through oxygen, not through food, not through water. That's all a scam.
Right.
It's only oxygen that you can do that with, and they do that, and then you go into a cold plunge right after, and with a whole bunch of people. It's about 40, 41 degrees cold plunge, and you do about 3 to 5 minutes in the cold plunge, and you go back and forth. It's absolutely incredible.
And you do this twice a month?
Once or twice a month. I would do it more, but it's up in Carlsbad. It's harder for me to get to. It's pretty far away.
Let me know. Maybe next month I'll
let's do it.
Hit it with you. Yeah,
everybody I brought with me to this, which is now can't count how many people. Every time I go, I see half a dozen people in the room that are either directly or indirectly there because of my referral.
Right.
And I'm like, you're still coming? You're like, yeah, I haven't stopped coming. They love it.
Awesome.
Absolutely love it because it's just the most incredible, because everything in our life is about breathing.
Right.
Nobody's breathing properly.
Right.
Nobody. We're all hyperventilating all day. You're not taking in enough oxygen. That's why sports and running, you get that runner's high. It's not because of the physical. It's because of the oxygen you're taking in. Because you're taking in so much oxygen, you're forced to breathe more.
Right.
And then you become healthier. So anyway, we could go all day on that. But going back, all right, let's go back to where you got your first thing into MMA. You started. So go there, and we're going to go on this journey of you and the MMA. And I still want to know about all the surgeries and all that stuff. So give me the MMA journey.
MMA journey started. I used to box as well as my dad was a Golden Glove boxer out of Chicago. Yeah, so I grew up kind of boxing. In that realm. Also loved the ground. Didn't know about it, and knew that most fights wind up on the ground.
Correct.
Of course. So I knew jiu-jitsu was a staple I had to include, and so doing jiu-jitsu really opened up my life as well.
Wow!
Because you talk about challenges, man. I mean, and being a big guy, I was kind of used to having, from football we have our way, with people. Mm-hmm. Jiu-jitsu is so different, right? Yeah. You could be 150 pounds, but you have great technique. You can submit the guy who's 250, no problem. Yeah. No problem. So I was like, man, I want to keep doing this because I'd never been, just had to tap every day, right? And I was like, man, this is
Humbling.
great. Yeah, it's humbling, but it was like I embraced it so much because I needed it. I needed some kind of outlet at my stage in my career. So started doing that with Eduardo Telles from 99 Jiu-Jitsu. Unbelievable. I recommend anybody to go down to 99 headquarters over there. Check out 99 Jiu-Jitsu. He's the turtle. Don't know if you've heard of the turtle guard where they give his back. He's the originator of the turtle.
No kidding.
He's a turtle master. So his thing is he's going to give you his back. And unless you get it perfectly,
he's going to submit you.
He's going to turn it into an advantage and submit you. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So, him. I started with Master Carlos Valente, who's another San Diego legend, a coral belt in jiu-jitsu. He's my master from the beginning. Eduardo Telles has worked with me religiously. And then guys like Jeff Glover. Don't know if you've heard of him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just incredible phenom.
Absolutely.
On the mat. Dean Lister.
I got to get these guys in here, bro.
Get them in. You're
inspiring me today to get these guys. These unsung heroes.
Yep.
Because it's so impressive.
Jeff Glover submitted a 325-pound black belt at I think he was 145. He's like a monkey.
He's unbelievable.
It's literally like fighting a monkey. He's all over you from every angle. But anyway, I got in, with these guys, kept training. The San Diego martial arts scene is so incredible here. Tight with all the Brazilians who are coming from Brazil as well. Andre Galvão is out here. We talked about Eduardo Telles. Just the list keeps going on of these great Brazilians. They love the San Diego weather and they love the beach, and it's a perfect transition for them over here. I think a few years ago, there was only, a couple of jiu-jitsu schools. Now there's over 100.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
There's one right down over here. There's one literally right, Altos.
Yes.
Right over here.
Yep.
Kind of a famous one.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. Johnny Faria was there.
That's right.
And those guys. So unbelievable community. I love all these guys and gals in San Diego. But they're really, the melting pot of the world. A lot of them train here, and a lot of, as you know, world-class athletes are here.
I've sponsored a couple of them. Miles Fury Jury. Mm-hmm. I sponsored Alima McFarlane, the Bellator champ.
I love Alima.
Yeah.
She's
amazing.
Awesome. I had a podcast about 10 years ago before this whole brave, incredible opportunity came, and I had Alima on the show.
Did you really?
Back in the day, yeah. What a story she is.
Wow.
She's amazing.
Amazing. Yeah.
Big props to Manolo Hernandez. Big Bill Crawford, Boogeyman, Richie Martinez, Gio Martinez, Danny Bowl, all the guys at 10th Planet San Diego. They're just incredible. I mean, if you want to go as well, learn no-gi, which a lot of guys want to do. 10th Planet is the top in the world right now.
Wow.
So, Go check that out. Yeah. And Manolo,
I do.
Manolo,
he's been in the store before.
Awesome. Incredible guy.
Yeah. Incredible.
Great friend. And they call him the Broadfather because he's got Alima McFarlane, Liz Carmouche. He had Juliana Miller, who just won the Ultimate Fighter show. Yes. He just has so many great women.
Liz was in here. Liz got a mattress from me too.
She did. Awesome. Yeah. And Liz is a former Marine as well.
Yeah.
Shout out to Liz out there.
Yeah.
So, a great community out here. And with mixed martial arts, we're only getting bigger and only getting stronger. So many more opportunities than back in your day.
Yep. Okay, so, all right, give me your, the trajectory now of when you started getting to, a big-time announcer. When did that start happening? What was your first gig like? I remember you said you volunteered. You didn't even want to get paid. Give me that.
Right. So volunteering, putting out the work, hired my own photographer, my own editor, just everything on my dime. So started doing that, and then went to Epic Fighting with Jason Stewart. Did that with him. Had Epic TV that I started up. And promoting, Epic and all that it does. Epic's coming up. They've got a show, I think it's May the 12th. and I'd like you to be a guest if you and your wife are open, or a friend, because it's at the 4 Point Sheraton. They get about 2,000 people in there.
Nice.
And it's just an incredible atmosphere. It's all Amis.
I love that atmosphere.
Yeah, it's all amateur. So these guys are giving everything, and they're the future of MMA. So you've got everybody supporting each other, from ground one.
Yeah.
We're back in our day, we didn't have an amateur career for MMA like that. They were just thrown in with the wolves, right?
Exactly.
In pros. So it's really a great breeding ground. Harvey Castellano is the matchmaker for Epic. He's doing an incredible job. But get out to Epic on May 12th.
Okay, so remind me about that, because I've been to a couple UFC fights, and I'm telling you right now, I have never felt an energy like I felt inside of a fighting arena. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
There's just something about it when two men are going to go hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. There's nothing better.
Nothing.
And you can't BS about it.
No.
Right? What's going to happen is going to happen. So all your training, all of your supposed street fights or whatever these guys have, right, is going to be shown man on man. And let's see who wins.
Yes. All right.
Just
so
that easy.
So when did you have your big, let's call it a big break?
Big break was I had on my show with my wife Tekka, who's my co-host.
How long have you been together with your wife, by the way? How long have you been married, or how long have you known each other?
13 years.
13 years. Okay.
Yeah. So been with her, and we actually had Manolo Hernandez on the show, as well as Alex Soto, who's a Bellator former UFC fighter. He was the vice president at the time. We had him on my podcast, and I went to the bathroom, and Tekka said, "Hey, who is your guys' ring announcer? Who's your cage announcer?" And they said, "Oh, we've got somebody, but we're not really sure." And she's like, check out my husband, and showed a tape to Muhammad Shahid and got the big break. Next thing I know, I'm in the Kingdom of Bahrain. They've got,
And this is like, what, 12, 13 years ago?
This actually was about 6.5, 7 years ago only. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. So had never worked on that grand a level with TV production. It's a whole different, I've got now an piece in. It's like, huge crowds. We just came from Serbia, where there was about 18,000 fans, sold out arena. I mean, these countries are so hungry and so appreciative that we're showcasing their nation to the world. And that's really what we're doing. So that's really, really exciting. That's when I knew, hey, I've got to give this my all and make an impact here. And I did. So knock on wood, it's been an amazing run.
And it was your wife that said, hey.
Yeah, she said it.
Check him out. And
Thank
so,
God. Yeah.
And then give me the what has this done for you as far as fulfillment goes? Because I love the way that you're looking at this whole career of yours.
Yeah.
Is that you're so loyal to these guys. Like, it's not even about the money.
Right.
I'm picking up on this.
Right.
That it's not about the money. It's the impact that you're making.
Once, right?
No, it's about the impact that you're making.
Yeah.
On this organization that has given so much back to their fighters.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what kind of level of fulfillment, other than nothing can compare to your daughter and your son and your wife.
Right.
But talk to me about that, what's happened here because of you're doing something that you love.
Right. Just prime example of following your passion and see what can happen. I mean, I really, as far as fulfillment, I'm so overjoyed that I'm in this position now in life. And I never thought at 57 I would be, right here at this stage. I knew I'd be something in entertainment and mixed martial arts. But to put it all together for me, the fulfillment is huge. I mean, it's just insurance is great, but it doesn't fulfill me, right?
Right.
This is incredible, and it's changing people's lives, and they're having an incredible experience, and that fulfills me.
And so during this journey now, you said how many countries have you been in? You've been in
28.
You've been in 28 different countries
announcing.
Now, real quick,
Yeah.
how did Angela find you?
Angela and I have been friends for, I think, 22 22 years or 23 years. Just her as being a big part of San Diego.
Yeah.
And I was, part of the San Diego scene as well. And I would see her out, and we became friends right away. Her, charity, it's all about the kids, just touches my heart.
Right.
I mean, they feed so many kids monthly.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Weekly, monthly.
Yeah.
I think
Hundreds
it's
of thousands of meals, right?
Yes, tons.
It's crazy. So not only is she a great friend and great person, but she's doing something so good for the community. So always wanted to be aligned with her.
We probably crossed paths because we've been aligned with her for 18 years at least. I was even on the board of directors of the charity, so we probably crossed paths a long time ago and just don't even realize it.
I was going to events like the Playboy Mansion had that event.
Rachel and I,
20 years ago?
My wife and I were at that.
I was at that event too. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm sure we've had a drink or said hi or something through the years. Or something.
Who knows what else?
You never know with
From
us.
From our prior life, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, we were at that. One of the Playboy Mansion one of the last ones that she held.
Me too. Yeah, that was it. And it was.
Oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me!
I'll find some pictures somewhere. But it's. Like all we talk about is fulfillment, relationships, love, bettering ourselves. None of that has to do with money, right?
Right.
Right.
Money comes and goes.
It comes and goes. You can never define yourself by it, and it really. If you have problems before you get into money, it's going to make it worse. But if you're a humble, guy, rational guy, it will give you some advantages in life.
So on that note right there, this is the one thing I preached about money for 20 years. Money will only make you more of who you are. You just said it. You spelled it out. You defined that. Like if you are a jerk and an ass without money, you're going to be a bigger one with money. And if you're a kind, generous, giving person, you're going to be even more so. I will say this though, success and money gives you a platform to bless others.
Right.
So we're not saying don't strive for lots of money, because you should be, because that's going to give you the platform to bless others.
Right.
You can't help as many. This is just a fact.
Right.
Unless you've got some money and your stuff is taken care of, you can't bless as many people. A drowning man an anchor is no help to a drowning man, I call it. Like you can't throw a guy an anchor and help him.
Right.
Because you're drowning yourself. Right.
Right.
So on that note, all right, so let's get into the last several years here. You've talked about a surgery. You've talked about, now can you talk about like your wife here? Like what, I had no idea, because that night she looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
She looked like $1 million.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to go there at all, but I'm kind of curious about it. Like what happened? What is she?
She's, so a little background on her. She was on CSI Miami as a cop for like 4 years.
Wow.
She's a Maxim model. She was a former Miss World contestant. They had that in Libya. Gaddafi fell in love with her.
Omar
Gaddafi fell in love with her, made her a diplomat, a peace ambassador for the United States to Libya, which is crazy. They didn't have social media back then. This would be all over, social media now.
Yes.
She's done some incredible things and manages me as well in my career. So
what's her ethnic background?
She's Jamaican and Russian.
Wow.
So and 6 feet tall. And
super tall.
Just unbelievable. I first saw her and I was like, I thought she was in LA. And I was like, I'd love to come to LA and take you out. And she said, I live here in San Diego. I was like, hello. Let's hit that up for this week then. So we hit it off, and boom.
Where'd you meet her at an event? Where'd you meet her?
The rest is his. There was, I met her at a concert, B-52's concert. Yeah, and she's friends with Fred Schneider at B-52 somehow. So I just noticed her, and a high school buddy was there. And he's like, I'll give you an intro or something. And he gave the intro, and we were done.
So you pursued heavily.
Pursued heavily. And man, the right woman in your corner can really, really save your life. Literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was my nurse the whole time. Now, the last few years, I've been her nurse. So it's been unbelievably challenging. We've been in, probably 30 times we've had to go in the last year to the emergency room at the hospital, numerous times in the ambulance. Many days in the hospital, different hospitals trying to figure out what's wrong with her. She's got a lot of things going on in her stomach, her intestines. It's just a real bad situation.
And they can't figure out what it is?
They know what it is, and they have to go in there to operate in order to take care of it.
Yeah.
But she has to be strong enough to go into surgery. So they're trying to do everything they can to make sure that she's strong enough, because the surgery may be, saying 5 to 8 hours. It's very complex. So with that, I mean, there are bouts of 5 to 7 days in a row where she's throwing up, can't even have an ice chip, and just screaming in pain. And it's tough,
and it's not cancer?
Not cancer, knock on wood.
Wow, yeah,
But
exactly.
but it's tough, we have a blind daughter, so she's hearing mommy throwing up and screaming, and, it's tough on London. It's just been a challenge for everybody. But we love mommy so much, man. Nothing's going to stop her getting her better. I'm doing everything in my power to make sure she has the best medical advice, and whatever we can do, it's all for her.
Yeah.
So,
and talk to me about what an inspiration she's been. Like, I'm going to assume that she's just tough as nails.
Yeah, toughest woman that I've ever met in my life. My mom held that title during her life, and then Tekka's got that now. It's unbelievable. I told her, like, men would have stopped,
crumbled,
would have quit. So I have as well a nurse coming in, like 3, sometimes 4 or 5 days a week as well, to the house and giving her IVs because she loses so much throwing up.
Yeah.
So it's just been overwhelming, but you know what? We're going to make it through.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And she's my soulmate and my partner, and we're going to enjoy life again. It's tough for me because she hasn't been able to really, like we had talked about before, enjoy life.
Yeah.
With this kind of health, challenges that we have. But you saying that your church was going to pray for her is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, things like that are... we have a great nanny named Lulu who's had her church pray for Tekka too.
Great.
And she's really been incredible for us too. So shout out to Lulu out there.
Wow. Yeah, Lulu.
Yeah.
Oh,
we love Auntie Lulu.
Auntie Lulu. What church does you go to? Do you know?
I'm not sure, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll find out. In Escondido, though. Somewhere out there. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, the power, what we talk about, when you're living your life for yourself, you'll only go so far.
Right.
But when you're living your life for others, you truly have no limit on how far you can go.
That's right. And it's called a legacy.
Right.
Like, and if you're not driven by, again, don't be driven by money because it comes and goes.
Right.
You have to be driven by something bigger. The why, we call it.
Right.
For you talked about your daughter, your wife, your son, but also making sure we make a mark while we're here.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, we all have the same purpose. I talk about this a lot because everybody's always struggling to think, oh, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know why I'm here. Well, you have the same purpose as me and all of us is to be the best version of yourself, number one.
Right.
Work on yourself, eat right, stay healthy, be the best version of yourself, and then do good with what you are and who you are. Find your gift, right? We all have a gift.
Yep.
Cultivate it, maximize it, and then do good with it and give it away.
Yeah.
I've always said
That's great.
that our job in life is to figure out what our gift is. Our purpose is to give it away.
Love it.
So keep going with this whole, give me the career of, because I want to get some stories from now from other countries, like what you've gone through.
Right.
Give me some stories that, like when you're in Bahrain or something, hit me with a crazy story that you're out at with these guys or.
Yeah, it's, whenever we go into a different country, it's always phenomenal, and countries are different as well as their fans are different. Like I remember when we were in Morocco, I couldn't even hear the microphone because they were so loud, and they had their flags in there and screaming. Just incredible Moroccan fans. Same with India. Like I can't go to the bathroom in India during a show. I just get mobbed by the entire crowd. Then in India, they really aren't as educated about MMA as we are out here, but they're learning. And we've been out to India, I think 5 times, and being so huge, India is a place
Huge.
we're trying to tap into the markets that aren't tapped into. So they have prosperity, they have wealth, and they have a great economic future.
Right.
And we're talking nothing about the fighter themselves, right? Yeah. We're talking about that fighter is the gateway to representing the nation, right? To getting everybody to do better in life.
Exactly, because every area you go to brings some prosperity to the city. Yeah?
100%. And their Olympic committee wants to get in board. Their political ambassadors want to get in board. Everybody wants to be a part of this. And again, we like to cultivate that relationship and come back. Where other organizations, they do a one and done, you know, and same with their fighters. We like to, once you're in the Brave family, we like to always take care of you, no matter what. So, no one brands their fighters better than Brave. I truly believe that. If you open up Brave Combat Federation on the internet, you're just going to see how much, and it's all about every other fighter, their story, where they came from, their fans, their tragedies, their hardships, all of that stuff. So, really, and when we go to Bahrain, like, it is unbelievable the shows that they have there. Yeah. Because, everything is just top notch. Oh, yeah. From the equipment to the stands.
They spare no expense.
No expense. Did you ever watch any of the old Prides?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the Pride screaming lady introducing the fighters?
I think I do.
Lenny Hart?
Yes.
Yeah, they've flown her in. Lenny Hart, the great Lenny Hart, who's also a buddy of mine, shout out to Lenny, and a true pioneer. So she'll introduce the fighter coming in down the ramp, and then I'll introduce the fighter in the cage.
No way.
So they have us both doing it together, which is pretty cool.
To this day?
Yeah, we did. I'll get you. Yeah, the last one we did together was like 2 years ago. So hopefully we do it again. Yeah, it's just incredible. Incredible time.
I love this. I absolutely love it. All right, so talk to me about, we'll land the plane soon here, Carlos, but give me some, like, a turning point that you can remember. I know you had said when your wife said, hey, try this out, but any other events in your life that you can remember that you can, because I want to inspire the guests here, because you've got an incredible journey. Now, you know what, actually, let me talk about this. Other surgeries, besides the Widowmaker, were there any, give me the Widowmaker, what happened here?
Man, because I waited, I thought I was having an asthma attack. So foolishly, I did not tell my wife and just kind of stuck it out.
What did you feel? You just felt heavy?
Short of breath. I couldn't catch my breath. So, and it was like 7 a.m. So I jump in the shower. I'm like, maybe a cold shower will do me good. Jumped in the pool. That always does me right. I just couldn't catch my breath. I waited like 2.5 hours. Didn't realize I was having the heart attack then. And the doctor said that because of that, 25% of my heart is unusable. So I have 75% of my heart I'm working with. And somehow it found another breathing mechanism or availability for me, because everything was closed off to my heart. Had to have 2 stents put in. They wanted to put in another one or 2 but they just had to do what they had to do to keep me alive.
And this is only a few years ago?
Yeah. That was just like 3 years ago, maybe 3.5 years ago.
And you were at home when this happened?
I was at home, yeah. And then I went from there to Abu Dhabi, and then after that, brought Mike Tyson to India for the first time that Mike Tyson's ever been in India. Worked that arrangement out, and we had Mike Tyson doing a K1, Mighty One League in India, and that was crazy. Mike is Mike, but
Mike is Mike.
Mike is Mike, but he is so well known. Our flights came in at like 3 a.m. and went to the airport to greet him. And man, you would have thought India all knew that he was coming in. They were waiting at the airport, in just thousands and thousands of them. Incredible. So, and meeting guys like Habib Nurmagomedov, Conor McGregor, great friends with his coach, John Kavanagh. I mean, these are the kind of people I'm meeting, and I learned that the more successful that someone is, and the more, number one, the more humble they are. Yeah. And the more just polite they are. People think of fighters as, meatheads or,
Yeah.
mongrels or whatever. That hopefully that reputation has come and gone a long way, because the life of a true mixed martial artist is so serene and calm in their heads, and it's all about a sport. So Brave always likes to keep things, not going after people's families, their religion, their countries. Try to keep things always professional and civil.
Yeah, so keep. Let's finish with that then, because I really am liking, because I always kind of feel like each interview out to see. There's so many messages that you've given out here today, Carlos, that are just incredible. But one of which it's never been on the show before, is actually letting people know the importance of this fight game, the importance of this sport, like, to humanity.
Yeah.
Like, if you could, like you just said, these fighters, like, talk to me about the whole fight game in general, and why it's so, like, we need to give it a little more attention and more respect. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. The places that we go are really surreal. I mean, we're traveling to India, South Africa, Pakistan I've been to, where they have to have armed guards go into the van with us, 4 armed guards with machine guns to take to the hotel, back from the hotel. I mean, we go in some very challenging, shall we say, places.
Yeah.
And being a truly global mixed martial arts federation, which we are, we have to give equal amount of opportunity to every country. So, and some people don't like that, but that's just the way for world peace that we have to roll. So we're doing that and going into these countries, and man, initially it was a little bit of a challenge, a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But you know what? You just go with it, and I've had such an incredible time. Kirk Janess, he's a commentator. He's the OG in mixed martial arts. He's the one who's kept every stat from every fight of mixedmartialarts.com since its inception. So he's the OG. Phil Campbell is from Ireland. These guys have won Broadcaster of the Year awards as well from Fightbook MMA. So the three of us together is just an incredible combo, and we're just having a blast doing it.
Wow.
And we see these guys from Pakistan, right, who had nothing, from South Africa, who are living like in a cardboard box. They start training, they start winning. Pretty soon they get able to get their mama home. They have a car. It truly changing their lives.
It's huge.
It's unbelievable. And this is through a sport. And I always say, I don't care how a country dislikes another country. But when 2 guys go in and they throw down, and after the fight, they hug it out, and there is nothing but respect and love. And that's what we're doing across the world. So going into uncharted land, going into and finding these heroes, we do it every day. We have one of the most advanced scouting systems in the world to find these fighters from everywhere. And, I'm headed to Slovenia here in about a week. So, just the bus keeps rolling.
Wow.
It keeps rolling and rolling. Yeah. So they have Malta planned for later in the year. There was talks of Israel, back to Brazil. They're just going all over.
Incredible.
Over. Yeah.
Incredible. All right. So, Carlos, here's where we're going to finish this. You ready?
Yeah, I'm
I
ready.
want you to... Carlos, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, so I'm going to go back to this Widowmaker, and the reason I'm
Yes.
doing this is because you shocked me when you told me this.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But
like
I wa-
11% survival rate
This is
of
what
a
I'm
Widowmaker. Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about right now. Is let's finish with this. I want you to share right now, what did that experience, quote unquote, do to your mentality of life? To share with people that are walking around, that majority of us take life for granted.
Right.
The majority of us think we're going to live forever. We don't even think about it. We're stressed out. We're not enjoying the moment.
Right.
We're not enjoying the journey. We're not being fulfilled. That Widowmaker, and I already knew you had an incredible attitude prior to that.
Yeah.
But what did that do to you? Like, give me the mentality of what it did for you at that point, at that moment.
The Widowmaker for me just put everything together that showed me that now I have to be even more of a man that I needed to be, even a better father figure, because like we said, our time is limited. It's not when or if we die, it's when we die. So I wanted to just, everything kind of came full circle for me because I was humbled. I didn't think anything would ever happen to me. I'd been hurt before and whatnot, no problem. But this was something that really woke me up. And I've devoted my life now to trying every avenue, as we talked about, to get my wife healthy and to my daughter to see. Those are my two goals in life. Everything else will fall. But as a Marine veteran, as a loving husband, as a guy who cares about this community in San Diego, and man, shout out to San Diego again, JD. We love you guys so much. I mean, this is the best city in the world, and I can't be more appreciative that we're here today because of San Diego, because of Angela Brannon, because of charity.
Yes.
I mean, that's really what it's all about, right?
You just said it. That's why we're here. I would have
both
never
supporting. Yeah.
I would have never probably either met you.
Right.
And even if I had met you, because you did that intro that knocked my freaking socks off.
And broke the mic.
You broke my mic here in the studio. That charity, us giving back to a cause, is why we're even in this room right now.
Right.
How beautiful is that?
That's amazing. That's life coming around full circle.
That's full
as
circle.
we talked about. Yeah. And, for me, I'm really appreciative meeting you as well. And because I see the things you're doing in the community, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So
thank you, man.
Big props to you. And get on out here. Get on out here to Real Deal Sleep.
Yes.
Change your life.
Change your life. Change your sleep and change your life.
Man, isn't that true?
Oh my gosh, Carlos, this has been absolutely incredible, man.
I've loved it, brother. I absolutely loved it.
It's been an honor. I'm really looking forward to connecting further with you.
Yes.
You're an incredible man. I'm glad God wasn't done with you.
Thank you.
A few years ago with the Widowmaker. I'm glad because he's got a plan. He ain't done with you.
Yep.
The world is a better place because you're here, Carlos.
Thank you, brother.
Without question. So, ladies and gentlemen, Real Deal Talk, Carlos the Roaring Lion Kremer. Follow him on Instagram. Once this is posted, we'll put all his contact channels up, all his Instagrams, social media stuff. Follow him. Give him a shout out. Let him know you love the interview. Let him know, DM him, whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, Carlos the Roaring Lion Kremer. That's a wrap. Real Deal Talk. Thank you,
thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Incredible time.
Come on, let's go. Yes.